Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, I'm Rob, and let's get this a Thursday show on the move on.
Look at that, by the way, Rob is here.
On time-ish.
A bull on time.
Ish.
On time.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Listen to the full sentence. There's a ... ish.
It's 9:09. We're 1 minute in. That is not on time-ish. This is a Giants show, goddammit. We were supposed to run on Coughlin time.
Listen.
If you're not 5 minutes
go
early,
in the back room, and then Drew's more of like Drew in the back room. It's all Drew's fault.
What? How is it my fault that you're late? Oh, so I deal with. Anyway, guys, we're going to get some Giants news to go with you guys. Listen, I'll tell you guys up front. This is like the low part of the season here. Free agency's over. Draft is over. OTAs are just beginning. So I'm not going to sit here in front and say we got 10,000 bits of news. So this is going to be kind of a quicker episode. We want to run through some of the quotes that came through because there's a lot of talk with the Giants to the media lately with the OTA starting up. But there's some really good quotes I thought out there that kind of tell as far as the state of the Giants, especially at two positions that have been thorn in their side for quite a while, at quarterback and at line. So, it's two, again, very important positions for the offense there. We also, before we start, got to tell you guys that we do have a new platform that we're on now as well. Because for whatever reason, StreamYard, which is the platform that, 80%, if not higher, of the streamers that you see on YouTube, by the way, use, has added Kick. So we're kicking it off with Kick today, apparently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kickstart.
It costs us nothing to put it out there, so what the hell, we'll put it out there. I don't really know much about the platform, to be honest with you, but I'm like, whatever. If you put our stuff out there to cost me nothing, we'll go for it. That's why it's on my LinkedIn profile, Rob's favorite.
Yeah.
It's out there, I might as well use it.
100%, man.
It costs me nothing. If it's free, it's for me, and I'll take 3.
Ooh.
So, oh, yeah, see? A lot of rhyming there. I'm a poet, I didn't even know it. Anyway... Let's talk about the new starting quarterback of the Giants, Russell Wilson, who's said to have an aura about him. And kind of a weird choice of words, I'll say. I think when I hear aura, I think of like mystical gurus and that kind of stuff. Like I don't think Mr. Unlimited is being considered a guru of that sort. I don't think that's quite the role that people think of with him. He could be. But the love guru with Mike Myers.
Have you met him? I was about to say, he did save himself from marriage.
I don't know if he did or didn't. I don't listen.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, it's another thing to do it. I'm not accusing. I'm just saying. It's very easy to say it. It's not like, wait a minute, I can tell you're not. Like, it's not you losing a birthmark on your face or something. Like, anyway, we get off of the bedroom talk of Russell Wilson. The whole topic came actually with the conversation with Bobby Okereke. Oh God, he probably said it his wedding night. Anyway, Bobby Okereke was getting interviewed there by the press, and he said, I can't say enough about Russ and even Jameis Winston, the presence they're in this locker room, the leadership they bring, the maturity they bring, just the vets that they are. And the respect they have in this league. I think Russ is one of 7 quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl and have 10 Pro Bowls. So there's a certain aura he's got about him. But yeah, we're all very excited. You never get to know the man, but you obviously play against him. But just the leader he is, how personable he is with everybody in the locker room, and just his mentality. He's dabbing up guys that he's not even in the position groups with. And you see the emphasis he's putting on leadership and team building. I thought that was really interesting because, again, you mentioned a minute ago, we're joking around about, his personal life, which probably shouldn't. We are, well, but we're talking about how we don't know him personally. Like, there's a lot of talk always about what kind of person Russell Wilson is. There's been accusations of him not being a good teammate. him being very
Denver looking
oh,
at you.
I want to say like egotistical, like to that degree, like
Yeah.
that's
To me.
been kind of
Just talk
stuck.
to me.
Even guys that like within the Seattle franchise, which obviously were in his best years, after he left, you could tell there was kind of some things starting to trickle out a little bit about issues that he had with his teammates there too as well. So was it
Yeah.
Richard he was fighting with like right afterward? I mean, a full blown, but there was a little bit of back and forth there afterwards, if I remember correctly. Or at least some stories about some issues. I don't think Russell Wilson went back at him in the media. That's not his personality, but Richard
Yeah.
Sherman will say anything publicly. He don't care. That's just his personality. So I like seeing it though. I like seeing the fact that here's a guy, Bobby Okereke, who's well thought of, obviously within the franchise, one of the better players on this team as a whole. Like I don't know where you put him, but probably at least 10. Like wouldn't you say like top 10 player on this team? Probably.
You can probably get closer to 5.
Closer to 5, but I think he's not quite
Yeah.
at 5. You figure you got Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Andrew Thomas, Malik Neighbors. There's 4 right there. He's going to be right around that 4, 5, 6 kind of mark, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you could argue saying top 5 in the 5th spot.
Yeah,
but
regardless, the point I'm trying to make is it's an important thing that a guy who's a bigger name on this roster and who's now going to his 3rd year with the team, so he's got a rapport with everybody on this team at this point, is saying these kind of things. And it's interesting that they're saying like he's getting involved with groups that he's not even a part of as well. I like seeing that. Again, love him or hate him, and I know a lot of people don't like Russell Wilson, and I get it. He was a part of a lot of winning teams in Seattle, guys. Winning is something that we have not had as a Giants culture in the last, 10 years, can I say? It's probably about the right time frame now.
Yeah.
The last Super Bowl was 2011, so I mean, it's been a while now. I'm not trying to do a Stain song. It really has been a while. So I feel like if you got somebody who's been a part of a winning team and he's willing to share some of the things that winning teams have done, he's been a part of, listen to him by all means.
100%.
Yeah. And he does seem to be setting a good example also for Jackson Dart in that regard as well. So, definitely happy to see that and excited to see, if maybe he's learned from the awkwardness he had in Denver and even to a certain degree over in, Pittsburgh as well. That was more of an issue with him and the offensive coordinator than anything else. But I mean, maybe he's learned a little bit there. Who knows? I mean, listen, we look at football players. We keep saying like, oh, they need to grow the hell up. Like, guys, he's in his mid-30s. Like, it's not like he's like a 70-year-old man who's like set in his ways and like can't learn and can't age, with wisdom at this point. Like, I know to some people 35 or 36, whatever he is old. But
for the NFL, he's old. But he's still
like NFL years, he's old. He's 36, so he'll be. I should be 37 in November. So I take it back. He's old.
Yeah,
I still got 5 years on you, Russ. Actually, I'll be 43 by then. So I got 6 years. So God damn it, I'm old. Anyway, again, just glad to hear good stories about Russell Wilson there, because there's always that nervousness after the stories you heard about, especially Denver. So glad to hear it there. So we also got news on the equipment front, which is not something we talk about very often in the show. Some edge rushers and getting a new look here. And the two specifically are Brian Burns and Kavon Tibido. And I got to say, one of them is just looks cool. One of them gets like Justin Tuck kind of like vibes almost to a certain degree. And here's your photo, guys. So Brian Burns literally has Spida on his face mask, on his visor now, with like a little bit of a hologram-esque kind of shine to it there. And Kavon Tibido just got a weird arrangement of triangles now on his face mask. But with the actual visor hooked up to it, it looks good. Like, I know, like, again, we don't talk too much about equipment, again, of players, because quite frankly, it doesn't usually matter. But when you're on defense, especially when you're an edge rusher, if you can get some kind of psychological edge, like listen, there are players that I remember watching growing up, and Justin Tuck obviously is one of those guys. Just the equipment made him look a little more boss than they technically are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a little bit of a look to them at that point because of that. You know?
Well, if you could put someone off edge, right? So the quarterback position is one of the most under pressure positions in all of sports. So like you have to you're the leader of the team. Like no matter what happens, it's always your fault. You're worried about your offensive line keeping you out of pressure, but you have to look for the people to open down the field. You have to be responsible for calling audibles on the field. Like you're the one that's going to be the face that no matter what happens, you're pretty much the face of that offense. So you're already on a mental edge every time you snap the ball. Just think about the pressure of all that comes to you. You have 300-pound men, 400-pound men running at you to literally take you to the ground and hit you as hard as they can. And even if they don't hit you, that little extra edge of the psychological goes a long way because you might make a mistake throwing the ball. Even though you don't get the hit, if you make him short throw the ball, throw it over, get the interception because he just was too afraid to just want to get rid of that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a psychological win.
Now, I'm going to give you a very clear example of why and how this is a psychological thing here. Let's look at this player here. And let's see. And Rob, you and I did not talk about this beforehand. It's not in the show notes. So I don't mean put you on the spot in a bad way. But I want to see if you're going to recognize who this player is. Because I got to be honest with you. I might be able to guess and based on maybe the number know who it is. But I'm probably not going to know otherwise at that point there. What is going on here? What is this comment we got on Facebook here?
It's
I don't even know what's going on here. What is going on? Anyway, this seems like a weird spam thing here. We're just going to delete this. You know what the bad thing is? It's now on the screen with the comments. I'm just going to turn that off. There we go. Anyway, let's see if you know who this player is without the helmet and visor mask combo he's kind of known for.
Who is that? I'm gonna try to guess.
Now listen, he looks like a very friendly guy, doesn't he? Like a very happy, friendly guy.
And he looks like he likes Duck Dynasty.
You want to know what he looks like on the field with the helmet on? Yes. That was Gilbert Brown, the Gravedigger.
And that's why he covered up his face, because he looked like a 6-year-old boy.
Look at the difference. Like I said, don't tell me that's not a psychological edge. Like that is he especially that smiling like that. He's smiling like the baby from Dinosaur Show back in the 90s.
Not the mama.
Anyway, I'm just saying, don't tell me that's not a psychological edge. So I'm kind of glad to see it, especially on Kavon's spot, because I don't want to say he's soft, but some people have accused him of that. I don't like it's hard for me to say that per se, but some people have said that. And I think a lot of it, honestly, is more his size than that he's soft. He's a little undersized for the position to a certain degree. But like I said, I like it. I can't hate it. And I actually, as much as it's not as much a psychological thing and a scare the opponent kind of thing for Brian Burns, that does look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And watch, that's the merchandise you wouldn't believe probably.
They're gonna sell the Macho Man visors saying Spider.
Oh yes, there you go.
And I will buy them,
especially if it has the wrong jersey number.
100%.
All righty, guys.
Brian Burns, when did you become 69?
Wait, that's Brian Botano's jersey. The wrong Brian. All right, guys, we're going to pay the bills real quick and be right back in just a minute here. Like I said, we only got a couple of things to talk about. So if there are anything you guys want us to talk about specifically here tonight, feel free to pop in the comments. We'll maybe add it on towards the end there for you guys. All right.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. Like I said, we got a couple of more segments here. So we also got to talk about Javon Holland, obviously one of the newest Giants here, coming over from the Miami Dolphins here in this past offseason. Listen, guys, let's be honest. The secondary needed a lot of work last year.
A lot.
Like,
that's an
there were some nice pieces obviously added in through last year's draft with, Drew Phillips being much better than I think most people ever thought he would be, at least his rookie year. Tyler Nubin, I want to say it was a disappointment, but I think he came with very high expectations and didn't quite meet them to a certain degree. And a lot of that, honestly, guys, is the lack of interceptions and turnovers more than anything else. But, you go into the season here, and we added, obviously, Javon Holland, the safety out of Miami, added Paulson Tibido, the corner out of the New Orleans Saints there. So there's a lot of optimism that maybe there'll be a fix, so to speak, there to the secondary, especially with the added pass rush as well, because that definitely is one way to help a secondary out there, is not make them cover for as long. But Javon Holland was asked about some of his newest teammates there. On Tyler Nubin, he said, I had no idea who he was besides obviously word of mouth and watching his game beforehand. He's a hell of a player and a great kid as well. He really is, and he's got great things ahead of him, and I'm here to help bring that out. Love it.
Yeah.
Like that. That's a leader comment, guys. Listen, point blank, that is a leader comment. And remember, when we talked about Javon Holland, we talked about him as a guy that Giants should be interested pending, before free agency even happened. And I remember there was a Giant fan in the chat, a Dolphins fan in the chat, and was like, oh, you don't want him, trust me, he's not a team player. Like, he took plays off and he made business decisions and stuff like that. And listen, I can't speak for what he did in Miami, obviously. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I watched every single Dolphin game there ever was. But that right there is a leader comment. That is I am doing what I can to support my teammates, and I'm here to try to help teach them the things that I've learned as well. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Mentor.
Then he talked about Deontay Banks. He said, Tay, he's full of life. He's a character, but Tay has all the talent in the world, and I'm super excited about his upcoming season and what he's going to do. I think he's got great things in him. Again, leader comments. Like, guys, a part of this is the offseason. You learn some of these new players that we brought on. Again, not just Holland. Tibido is a guy that we need to kind of learn on a little bit there as well, obviously. Even Russell Wilson to a certain degree. You look at some of these players, I think we all know what Jameis Winston is because he's just a goof. Like, he should be one of us. He's a goofball.
He should be on the show with us.
He really should be on the show. But, like, you're still learning some of these players. And this is the first time you really see, like, a lot of, besides obviously a signing, which is all pomp and circumstance, let's be honest there. It's the first time we really seen, like, comments about him specifically on teammates. And I'm liking what I'm hearing. Like I said, these are leadership comments. This is leadership role kind of stuff there at that point. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, like I said, hopefully this big season, he goes back to what he was prior to that injury he had in Miami. Same with the Tibido, obviously. Listen, unfortunately, we got guys that have some injury history, but he was a damn good player, especially a cover safety, which is something you don't hear very often, that term. You hear the corners, obviously, very often, a cover corner. But Javon Holland, when he was at his best, it was like a shut down the tight end kind of safety. And Guys, we've been missing that for a long time.
A very long time. It's
Long
been one of our
time.
weakest spot.
Yeah, and again, they got some really good tight ends, in this division. Between Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert and Jake Ferguson. We're playing other teams that have really good tight ends as well. Obviously, Travis Kelce's coming to town for the home opener. So, like, if he's healthy, this guy can make a big difference in that secondary. And I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table there. But again, first comments, I'm going to like it. I'm going to like it there.
Yeah.
So one more here we got for you guys. And we want to talk about the state of the offensive line because, again, that's like our Achilles heel of the Giants for the last 17,000 million years since the dawn of the dinosaurs, it feels like.
Yeah.
Now, the reporters got a chance to talk to Greg Van Roten specifically, and he gave a lot of comments of what's going on in the offensive line. So when talking about the line, he said specifically the offensive line, we are deep. So there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of talent. Marcus Bowe looks like he can be a good player. Jay Kubas showed a lot of promise and last year, hoping to build on that in year 2. Interesting people he picked out in that. I like the depth thing. I agree with it. It's gotten better the last 2 years. Been kind of growing the depth of the offensive line. But interested in 2 players because Marcus Bowe is a guy that, we were very high on coming out of this draft. We thought we got a 3rd round talent in the 4th round. That's always a good thing. And then you got Jake, was a guy that he kept hearing the coaching staff loved him last year and didn't play very good when he got the chance. But to be honest, he wasn't supposed to. That's supposed to be a red shirt year for him basically to learn. And he kind of got forced into service there because of all the injuries going on there. He was also asked about John Michael Schmitz, obviously JMS, very, very important 3rd year. I cannot stress how important this 3rd year is for JMS. He said, I love playing next to John. He's a really, really smart center. I think he's taking steps every year. And hopefully this year 3, you want to take another step. You want to be the guy. And I think he is the guy. And we'll just keep going. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is leadership talk here. See, when we talk about Holland,
Saying the right stuff.
Yeah, you got the right stuff.
Ooh,
I got New Kids in the Block. Thanks to you. Not cool.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because I actually heard that song with Marky Mark today. Good Vibrations.
Yeah.
Oh, I just popped up on. It was like one of those TikTok things that do like, do you know these songs from the 90s? And I'm like, yeah, I'm old. Of course I do.
It's like not just the 90s. That's like early 90s. Like
that was like 91, 92,
almost
probably
80. Yeah, maybe 90 in general.
Yeah, we're gonna look it up. Who would have thought we talk about Good Vibrations? By the way, if people don't know, Good Vibrations is the song Marky Mark. You know him probably better as Mark Wahlberg, though he's gotten so old he's not even a movie star anymore at this point in his life. 1991 that was almost 35 years ago. Like one more year to be 35 years. That's crazy. But yeah, he tried himself as being a musician, I guess you want to say, like a rapper. After, of course, his brother Donnie Wahlberg, who you see in Blue Bloods on CBS, I think has that show. Is that show even still going on? I don't know. He's also the one that married Jenny McCarthy, and he was in New Kids on the Block. So we've given way too much information on New Kids on the Block. I never thought we'd talk about it.
And that's where Entourage got its like basis off of.
Is it?
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I never watched the show.
Oh, so the main star is supposed to be like loosely based off of Mark Wahlberg, and he has an older brother who's like, he's an actor, but he's not like as successful.
Wow.
But he has his entourage like Mark Wahlberg did.
He married Jenny McCarthy. He's got some success. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, just leadership stuff. I'm glad to hear it. And listen, I'm hoping big things out of JMS too as well. I think the big thing, he's got to be healthy. He hasn't been healthy at all, guys.
I was going to say his biggest problem has been like he just hasn't been able to stay on the field. And in his rookie year, like he battle through some injuries and just
Yes.
didn't go out. And like we give him kudos, but like at the same time, like especially at his age, you don't understand. But like sometimes staying in longer and trying to fight through it when you should be sitting out, it's going to affect you the next year.
Well, it's also we only give so many kudos before eventually we're like, okay, I get it, you're playing through injury, but the problem is you're always injured. Like you get credit in the beginning for doing that, but eventually you're like, okay, this has been long enough. Get healthy.
Yeah.
Or this is a problem. We have to move on. It's a business decision.
Yeah, which is sad to move on from the business decision of an injury, but if you would have just sat out and taken an extra couple weeks.
Yeah. Well,
yep.
I don't know. It depends on the injury. It's hard to say on that.
Yeah.
It depends on what type of injury. Unfortunately, fortunately, since we don't know things to HIPAA laws and privacy stuff, who knows on that one? But it's possible. That's for damn sure. So Greg Van Roten was also asked about the transition for somebody moving from tackle to guard. Obviously, we're dealing with that with Evan Neal, the guard. We're dealing with that with Evan Neal, who's moving into that guard position there. It was asked there again. They were asking him if it was easy to make that transition. He said, "I don't think so, honestly. With the ability that you see that these big defensive linemen these days, they're not these big fat slugs anymore. They're athletic, dynamic. You look at the young guy that we drafted in the third round. He's a big dude. He's very athletic. And then you look at Dex inside. That is not someone I would say that is I want in a phone booth. Just me personally. Yeah, they're closer to you, but that doesn't mean it's easier to block them. That sounded a little personal, I think, like for him. And I think we're having a little bit of a renaissance the last couple of years of the guard position, where it's thought of as more important. And obviously, that's, let's be frank, in the fact that you're seeing more defensive tackles now that are pass rushing. Like it used to be, you were the guy who just held the block so somebody else got freed up, or you're the guy who just tried to clog the holes the running back can't get through. Now you're expected to go ahead and rush the passer, collapse the pocket, do those kind of things that, quite frankly, if you want to go back to the days of John Randall and Warren Sapp, they were the guys who really kind of started that off in the early, to mid 90s at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's a different thing now. It's not, that's not the same position. So yeah, it's like, is it easy to these big fat slugs, as he called them? Is it easy to block them either? No. Guys are like 350 pounds. Like, good luck blocking that kind of, big fat slug, as he called them. Like, which is just a gross analogy, like slimy and all.
Well, nice, slow moving, but
how do you block this guy? I bring table salt.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
just all of it.
The only complaint I have of what he said is, he said, you look at the young guy we drafted in the third round, he's a big dude. Like, do you know his name? Like, Greg Van Roten, do you know your teammate's name? Like, I know I've seen, like, you get some of the old-timer football players that have been around for, like, 15 years and played on, like, 12 teams. People will joke around with them on TikTok and, like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? I've seen that kind of videos before.
Yeah.
This is a guy on your team right now. Like, right now. And you're, like, practicing against him. You should know his name. And maybe he does know his name, it's just poor wording, but when you say it that way, you look at the young guy that we drafted in the third round. That's I don't know his damn name terminology.
It could be. It's also like some people just talk like that.
Yeah. Just that's what it kind of sounds like to me.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Who knows?
There's some people like that's. There's plenty of people like in sales I deal with.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
Hundreds of people a day.
You don't know their names in sales. I know better. It's hey you.
Oh no, I take notes.
Let's see. This is Robert. He's got the daughter doing ballerina.
No, it's before it goes. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're looking like, what's that movie? The Interns with
Owen Wilson and
Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. Yep, the one they did that before the meetings. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, Greg Van Roten was also asked about competition on the line. He said, "We're all competing. Nothing is set in stone. This is Mace. You've got to earn it every day." And that's a reason I think that I've been able to stick around the league for 14 years, because I don't think that I've earned anything or anything should be handed to me. I'm sure Evan feels the same way. I'm sure Jake feels the same way. There's a lot of guys in our room, and the reality of the situation, we will have 9 or 10 at the end of training camp. So you just want to be in that 9 or 10. First off, I'd like to set the little bar a little higher if I was a player. I just want Doppy cut.
I get what he's saying.
I do too. I just don't think it came out very well.
Yeah, so going back to like we're talking about, like the big dude that we got in the third round, like that's just might just the way he talks. It just might be like one of those good old boys, like that guy over there. But as soon as he walks up to that guy over there that we dropped the third round, yeah, or like he may say like this, that about that person, but as soon as he goes up to him, like, oh, hey Drew, what's up?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like I said, that was more just weird because that's what it sounded like. He didn't know the guy's name, but this one here, that's just even weirder too. So you just want to be that 9 or 10. Like, let's set the bar a little higher, especially for a guy like Greg Van Roten, who's literally played every single snap last season. So that's a little crazy. But again, I like the fact that he is acknowledging there is competition. Like, let's be honest here. Greg Van Roten is not secure in his job as right guard. Like, is he the incumbent? Is he the guy who probably will likely hold on to that job? Of course. But do you think the Giants are going to spill, any kind of tears if Evan Neal beats him out? No. They're going to be happy to be a certain extent because it validates their pick. Are they going to be happy if Jake Kubas all of a sudden plays better and somehow snatches that role? Of course not. They signed him, and he's young. He was undrafted rookie free agent. Like, this guy, it's kind of the equivalent of a draft pick to a certain degree. You know what I mean? He's part of that rookie class from last year.
I wonder if, like, the way he stated in his head, he was trying to accommodate all these guys at the same time. Hey,
I think he was.
Starter.
Yeah, I think he was. I think that's how he meant it. But the last part is what kind of, I think, was more a message to those guys. But it came off as like him not setting the bar high enough for himself.
I mean, he could just be saying, like, listen, he's been around the league. Nothing's been, nothing.
I get it, but you're saying there's a lot of guys in the room, and the reality of the situation will have 9 or 10 at the end of training camp. So you just want to be in that 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at there.
Yeah.
Well, we got our first comment on Kick, I see, and that's not. I don't know how to. Oh, we can't even delete the comments apparently. But apparently he wants to help increase our views. Get 25 subscribers in 3 days. First off, let me tell you guys, if anybody else does any kind of content creation, if anybody ever offers to take money from you in exchange for subscribers, don't do it. It's going to kill any channel you have. It's very tempting, I know. It will kill any channel you have, any kind of drive you have, because those subscribers will be fake and never ever watch your stuff, which will hurt your analytics much more and tell that platform to not show your stuff. Anyways, I get off my little side rant there since I can't get rid of the bot there, apparently. We have to re-examine this Kick thing. But anyway.
Kick it out.
Let's cut it out.
No,
we have way too many 90s references here today. On his free agency this past offseason, he said, I was hoping to come back. I was glad that conversation started sooner than last year, so it worked out, and I'm happy to be here. So, obviously, he signed much earlier. He was a very late addition last year, guys. He's like, besides Adoree Jackson, I think he was like the latest person to actually basically see the field that we signed, barring people we signed because of injuries later on during the season. I'm saying in the offseason.
In the offseason.
So, so he probably is happy to be back that much quicker. And again, he's with Priscilla, he's with in his time in the Raiders as well. So, he probably did enjoy coming back because, he's probably got a chance to start and he's playing for a guy he's played for multiple times and he's comfortable with. Plus, let's be honest, we sucked last year. We should be better.
Should be a lot better.
Better be. Speaking of being better, he also talked about the quarterbacks. He said, yes, a lot of personalities in that room. They're all different. Not that one's better than the other. Russ is definitely very detailed. Jameis is a great locker room guy. Tommy is Tommy. Which, I'm sorry. That's hilarious. Tommy is Tommy.
He's like, hey, guess what? My mom made some chicken parmesan. We're gonna have some a little later.
Like what? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. He goes on and says, and then we're learning about Jackson, seeing what he's all about. They all bring something kind of unique and special to the room, so it's going to be exciting to watch them kind of progress throughout the offseason and training camp. Russ, he's been there, done that. He's been in the league a long time, competed at a high level, 10 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl, been to 2, a lot of experience, and he's just a really good voice to have in the offensive room. So again, more nice things being said by teammates on Russell Wilson. Now, I will say this. I didn't see the whole interview, so I don't want to sit there and say that I saw every single question and statement made. Something led him up to it. But that's 2 players that we're talking about this episode, Bobby Okereke and Greg Van Roten, who both said very nice things about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
As a person, not even as a quarterback, as a person. Let's be honest. We already knew he was an upgrade at quarterback. And he's not going to be the upgrade over person. You can say what you want about Daniel Jones. That man is a freaking saint. But he is. And still doesn't talk trash about the Giants. You kidding me? I've been bashing the Giants like you wouldn't believe if I was him. But, there's good comments and nice words now from 2 teammates that we've heard today in Russell Wilson. So definitely excited to see what he brings to the table. Let's get to a couple of your guys' comments here. We do have a couple comments we can go over real quick before we get on out of here for the night. So first off, Christopher Tony, what's up, man? Says, what's up, guys? And everyone in the chat. Can the offense score at least 24 points a game? O-line hold up throughout the season? I'm going to say your second part of your question will determine your first part.
100%.
I know it's a weird way to answer that, probably. But
I mean, listen, what do we average last year? Just shy of 17? Was it 17.5 or something?
What, for points per game last year?
Yeah.
It seemed like 3.
You're not wrong.
Oh my god. Let's see.
We threw up some hamburgers up there.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking it up right now for you to see. Lowest points per game. Nope.
Average points per game. That's what I was looking for.
I know, but let's be honest, that's where we're going to be. 16.1.
All right, so it wasn't off 17.
The only team worse than us was the Browns at 15.2. Then you had the Patriots at 17, and then nobody else was under 18.
I mean, that's still not good.
It's really not. By the way, I'm going to say this as well, because can the offense score at least 24 points a game? I'm looking right now at 24 points a game would put you top 10. So I'm going to say no.
Of last year?
Yeah. I'm going to say no just based on that alone, because I don't think it's realistic for us to expect to get top 10 offense.
From top 31 to top 10.
I mean, average in the league, if you go based on like the middle of the road teams, Colts, Falcons, and the 49ers kind of take up the middle, because Colts were 16th and Falcons and 49ers both tied for the 14th. You got 22.2 for the Colts and 22.9 for the Falcons and the 49ers. 22 points is realistic. That's 3 touchdowns and an 2-point conversion, which of course we're never going to hit those. But
yeah, or
we'll keep trying. God damn it!
Realistically, what's going to say is, the Giants are going to get a couple field goals and a touchdown here, and a couple touchdowns here, and a field goal there.
Yeah,
and that's how we're going to chalk it.
But that's what we got to be. Just be average. That's all we need. Yeah. I hate to say it that way. I just ragged on Greg Van Roten for not setting the bar too high. Like, I would love a top 10 offense. I just don't think it's possible. So yeah, I'll say no to that question that actually looked up to see the averages.
I mean, I don't think I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's probably improbable.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you go from middle of the pack, right, the top 10, like.
Well, we weren't middle of the pack, though. We were second to last.
No. But I'm saying, like, you literally, like,
can you say
Falcons,
2-3 years?
But the Falcons the year before, they were constantly putting it up. Like, they were one of those scoring teams.
Yeah, they got quarterbacks just like we did. So
Yeah. So like,
I mean, let's be honest. You could say Kirk Cousins was their version of Russell Wilson for us, and Michael
100%.
Penix and Jackson Dart. Like, if there's the analogy is there between those two teams. And
I
again,
listen. I've said
yeah.
it before. I'm going to say it again. Like, you want to know what our team is going to look like? Look at how the Falcons played last year.
But with a much better defense.
Yeah,
the Falcons' defense wasn't as good.
No. But the defense was a slow. Yeah, they kept them in the game because they moved things slow. The offense moved slow as well, but usually there was a lot of low-scoring games that the Falcons had, and there was also some blowouts. But that's besides the point.
The Falcons, I'm looking them up right now for you. See where they're at as far as points. They gave up 24.9. So they were 23rd. The Giants, by the way, gave up 24.4. They were 20th. So I keep on saying that the Giants were not the defense was not the problem, guys. Keep saying that to people. I just got to keep pointing it out every time we see it. He also said, "I see 8-9 record this season, provided we stay healthy and competitive." Yeah, I mean 8 or 9 wins is what I know. 8-9 is what you're saying the record, but I think 8 or 9 wins is not unrealistic if the team is healthy. That's the big if, because if the team's not, we could be the pooper again.
I mean, listen, we did our prediction already. That's pretty much where we put us this year. It's like 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, could we sneak in maybe 1 or 2 more? Maybe. Could we also lose a game or 2 more? Maybe. Of course. But 8 or 9 is currently that sweet spot.
It's probably where it is. Deb says, "Don't hear Nunez Roche's name much." No, yeah, you don't.
That's about it.
Frankly, you don't, and that's telling. Now, we'll have to see what happens with him overall. He's a guy that could get cut in camp if they need money because of this way his contract is at that point. But, I think he'll stay on just because of necessity. If you look at what we got on this roster, I'm going to pull up the depth chart real quick to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody here. So you got Dexter Lawrence, obviously, will be the starter. ESPN, which I know is not an official depth chart, obviously, but they're listing Raheem Nunez-Roches and Roy Robertson Harris as the starters. Then you got backup-wise, Darius Alexander, Jeremiah Ledbetter, DJ Davidson, Elijah Chapman, Jordan Riley, Gordon Durden, Elijah Garcia, and Timmy Horn. So you literally have 11 defensive linemen right now, which is just insane. You're not going to keep that many. But there's not really much difference between a lot of these guys. That's the thing. Like, I could see Nunez-Roches starting along with Alexander at the ends and having, Dexter at the nose. And I don't think that's insane to think that's going to happen. But who knows? I mean, look at Elijah Chapman. You probably never thought he'd make the roster last year. But, yeah, you don't hear much of Nunez-Roches. And I think that's part of what it is part of what you hear is what the Giants beat writers are giving you, the pictures and stuff the Giants are releasing. They're not going to advertise Nunez-Roches right now because they don't know if he's a starter themselves right now. That's part of it. So, we'll see what happens. But I still think he'll be in the roster because I think he's still one of the better resumes in that defensive line room, that's for sure. But, we'll see what happens with him overall. So, but that's going to call it a night here for us. I know a lot of you guys will be probably watching afterwards that are watching because I know the game is going on right now, Game 5 with the Knicks and the Pacers, which as we're on right now, it's 20-point lead right now for the Knicks, 84-64. So, good for New York area fans that are Knicks fans. I just personally couldn't care about basketball anymore.
Yeah.
I honestly, you know what it is? I feel like you and I grew up in the best, and I feel like probably every generation probably says this, but I feel like we grew up in the best generation of basketball. The MJ era was the best. Point blank. I'm sorry. Those 90s were like just absolutely amazing basketball. And nowadays all it is dunks and 3-pointers, and it just bores the hell out of me.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like you get some guy they draft and it's like, oh, he's 7'2". Oh, is he disgusted Rob as you left? Look at like some kid, like, oh, he's 7'2", and then you find out he's like 160 pounds soaking wet. He's throwing 3-pointers up from half court. Just not the same game. I know it's like a get off my lawn moment for me probably, but I just don't enjoy it like I used to when I used to watch when I was younger. Anyway, guys, we'll be back again for you Monday night. As always, we are live every Monday on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter/X. I guess now Kick, this new one we're trying out now that they just gave us the ability to stream to as well. And of course, as always, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. So Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button there. Again, appreciate you guys for watching in as always. And like I said, we'll be back again there. Enjoy your weekend there. Have a happy and safe one there. See you Monday again as we give you the next dose of Giants news and OTA updates and all that kind of fun there. So we'll see you then. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.